Hello, everyone. This is Elizabeth with Scott Leroy Marketing, and welcome to Lead Generate with Command Facebook Ads 101. Today is October 18th, so if you are viewing the recording, some of the features may have changed. Today, I'm starting out in Mozilla Firefox, but this applet works really well in Google Chrome Incognito as well. And we're starting in command, which is agent.kw.com. Again, that's agent.kw.com. That's all you have to type in. Next, enter your username. This will be something like first initial, last name, maybe a number, sometimes an email address. Next, enter your password. Your username is not case sensitive, but of course your password is. Then you'll click sign in. So to start out, I wanted to show you what a sponsored ad or paid ad actually is. So this is what they'll look like. They'll have the business page name at the top. This will actually not show up on your business page, but it will show up in others' news feeds, like when you're scrolling through Facebook and viewing all of the posts that your friends have made, any of the groups that you're in, any of the pages that you like or follow. This will be within their news feed, and it'll be associated to you by the name of the page, and it'll say sponsored. And then you'll have the description, the image or images, if you add more than one, the link, the call to action button, and title and description. So that's what we're going to be making today. But first, we're going to do a little housekeeping to make sure that you're all set up for success. We'll start by clicking our name in the top right corner and then click settings. And you'll see it defaults you to the applications page, and your connected apps will be up top. And you'll see I already have my Facebook connected to command in both the ads manager. Oh, that was weird. Ads manager that we'll be using today, and also the post scheduling. So the difference here is the ads manager that we're going to be working with today is the paid option. So you do have to pay money. The post scheduling option is free. Like I mentioned before, the ads manager and the paid ads are going to show up on others' news feeds, but not your timeline. The post scheduling, on the other hand, is basically like making a post on your business page. So just as you would make a post in your personal account, you can make a post to your business page as well. And that you can find on your page, unlike the paid ads. Does not need to be done differently if you're on a productivity coaching team. You will just have to make sure you're in your personal account. Generally, productivity coaching teams, you don't use the team accounts like you would a normal team or group. You would just work out of your personal account So I do have a Facebook account. I do have a Facebook page and have connected that to Command. That's really the first step is you have to have that page already created. We do have some tip videos if you do not already have a page created and need some pointers on how to set that up. So check out our YouTube channel for those. And once you're connected here, it will just show your name as it is on your Facebook account. This does not show your page name. So it will show your personal account name, not your page name. And that's by design. So don't worry that you're not seeing your page name here. And it also may not pop up all the way to the top. It does depend on what other applications you have connected. So if your order is different than mine, don't worry. That's okay. Now, one common question I get, excuse me, on this page is you will not see an Instagram option here. How that's done is connecting your Instagram to your Facebook account on Facebook or on Instagram, but you won't see Instagram as an option here. The only other social media option that Command has at this time is Twitter. And you'll see the same options for those: Twitter post scheduling and Twitter ads manager. But again, this is Facebook paid ads 101. So we're not going to cover much on Twitter or Instagram. So if you have any further questions on those, reach out. We'll be able to help. At this point, I also want to share with you KW Support's article on setting up for success before launching a Facebook ad campaign. This is a really great article on the 8 steps that are required prior to creating an ad. So I'll put this link in the chat. And it'll cover going over having a business page, like I mentioned. You do also have to have the 2-step verification on. And that's just the extra code when you log in. You must be an admin on the page. So if you created your page, you're already an admin. But if you had someone else create it on your behalf, you just want to make sure you have the admin role. Next, you do want to make sure that your Facebook page is connected to the Facebook ads, or I'm sorry, Facebook Business Manager account. And this article is really great as well because it does have links on information about all of these steps. You also want to make sure that you read and accept the lead ad terms. This is a really common problem because sometimes it pops up behind the window, so it's not always prompted through Command. And of course, you want to make sure that you connected your account, like I mentioned back in Command. Your marketing profile is set up and complete. And your payment option is added, which I'll go over that step when we get there. Yeah, there's not much else to the setting up the 2-step verification, but you must have that turned on. So you can click this link to learn how to set that up. It's just an additional step. It's a second step of signing into your account. So once you have your account connected, you'll see the little connect button on the side. Simply click. You'll sign into your Facebook if you're not already signed in the same window. You'll choose your page that you want connected. You can also add more than one page and connect that to command. So for instance, if you have not only a real estate page, but maybe a Norwex or Scentsy or lawn mowing or dog walking page for all of your side businesses or even main businesses, then you definitely can connect those as well and be able to do campaigns and ads by those pages. Once you're connected, you'll see the manage and connect more. So manage is where you can disconnect that account, and connect more is how you would connect other Facebook accounts. Generally, you only have one because it's tied to you as a person. So now that we have our account connected, we're going to head to campaigns. Campaigns is the little megaphone icon. It's number 7. When in doubt, you can click the red square with the white KW to expand the name of the applets as well. So we'll click campaigns to go to that applet. And you'll start out on the dashboard. Here's where you can see the connected channels. You can connect more accounts here. Again, you'll see your connected accounts. Quick posts. This will be for the social posts or the post scheduling. Again, won't go over that today. We do have tip videos over that. Some tips and training on how to create a paid ad. You'll also see other tabs of other types of campaigns, like emails for bulk or mass emailing, direct mail, like postcards. And again, that social posts, which is the free option to post to your page using command. So like number 8 in the Setup for Success article mentioned, you'll want to set up a payment. That can be done using the payments button in the top right corner. Once you click that, you'll be taken to your payment information, where you can simply add a payment method here on the left-hand side. All fields are required, so fill in each and click Add Card. Underneath that, you'll see the ad spend metrics. So split up between all of the different accounts, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, command, email, and MailChimp for emails, even Google AdWords for paid ads. The social posts you'll be able to post to your business page, but this class covering paid ads, they don't post to your business page, they post via your business page. It'll actually be on others, random people's news feeds. But nothing will post to your personal account. And then last on this page, you can export this ad spend metrics as an CSV or comma separated values. Simply put, that's a Microsoft Excel spreadsheet. But you can also open it in Numbers or Google Sheets too. So once you have your payment added, we're going to click Create Campaign in the top right corner and choose Social Ad. Starting at the top, you'll enter a campaign name. Character limit is 80. So you don't want anything too terribly long, but I would make it something that you will remember. And this is only visible by you. So if you do something like JS for just sold, you can. And then you can put in the address, for instance. And I always recommend have some sort of naming convention that you can use on all of your ads so that you can kind of see them clearly. Today, we're going to do a just sold of an address of a transaction that happened in your office. So if you do not have any listings at this time, you might see if that's a possibility in your market center. Previous classes I have done just listed. So if you do have a listing, check out old classes. I've also done using this goal, brand awareness. So to advertise yourself and get your name and your brand out there for leads. Next, you want to choose your goal. So you can choose for just sold, you can choose advertise listing or even attract listings or attract buyers. You know, even attract talent would kind of work as a goal for a just sold, depending on, you know, if you want to use how many you're selling to attract other team members. So you pick whatever goal. This can be changed later. Same with the campaign name. So don't worry too much about this goal. You can always choose other as well. This mainly helps Keller Williams in their analytics and reporting just to see what the agents are using. It doesn't affect what you'll see on the next page. So if you do choose another goal, the whole setup process will be the same. Then you will check where your campaign will run. Again, this is just a Facebook Ads 101 class. So I'm going to choose Facebook, but you can also choose Twitter and or Instagram. Then click Create Campaign. You'll see this little pop-up where Command is previewing and cropping your Market Center logo or DBA logo. So just let that work for just a moment. Maybe. Let's see if refreshing helps. Nope. When in doubt, you can just close this and add it later as well. So you'll see, just as other campaigns, you'll see the steps on the left and the preview on the right. Your goal is to get all of the steps to have a green check mark on the left-hand side. So you'll start with name and goal, which you have already filled in, But if you click to drop down, that's where you can change that campaign name or goal again, if you wish. If you do change anything, just click save. Yeah, for brand awareness, if you want to add the media from your designs, designs does have several brand awareness designs to use that you would go in and create in designs first. And then you would use the goal, brand awareness, and all of these fields here are going to appear the same. You would just enter in different text. So to make this paid ad work for you. So for this just sold, I am going to add a listing. It defaults to search by property address, so you can do that here. You can also change that to MLS number or even listing agent. And then once you type it in, click search. You'll see your search results on the left. I do highly recommend changing the status. In my case, it's sold. I'm just going to do all because it's just a random default address. And then you also want to change the show from only my listings to all, especially if you're using someone else's listing. If you're using your own, of course, you may be able to leave it in my, but I would always suggest changing it to all. So then you're going to find your listing and click select. And KWLS 2.0 is going to slide back over. And then command's going to work the image again. Yeah, I have done an open house goal in a class as well. So feel free to check out our previously recorded classes on those. Next, you'll see this next section is text. That's mainly where you're going to see it. But basically just put in verbiage about open house. So next section is text. To open that one, click configure. And you'll see by choosing that listing, the main copy has come over. So you would definitely want to change this verbiage since it is a just sold. So you can say something like, something like that. Now this field does have a limit of 250. So you'll see it cut it off when it hit that limit. But you can also add emojis by clicking this little gray smiley face in the bottom right corner of that section. Next is headline, character limit 25. Once you start typing, you'll see it populate on the preview. So that's where it would show up. Next field is description, also required. Character limit 250. Can also add emojis. This field may not show in all instances of your ad. It depends on what device the consumer is viewing it on. So you'll want to enter the description here. And as soon as you start entering it, you'll see where it displays on the preview. So you can say something like, once you're done with this section, simply click Save to collapse that, and you'll see the green check mark. Media, click Configure. Now here's where you can add a different image or even video. This is also where you can choose a different photo from the listing if you have a listing connected. So let's also add this one. It's going to default it to the 1-to-1 ratio, but you can change that to others depending on where you're posting it. Dba logo is required. So if you weren't able to have command work for you at the very beginning, like myself, you can add it here. Or you can also find them by clicking this blue text here, Market Center logos. This will take you directly to KW Connect so that you can search for your Market Center's logo. That'll be about halfway down the page, that search box. So you start by typing in your Market Center name or number. And then you can preview and or download and upload here. Let's see if I have any. Of course, if you upload the wrong one or want to use a different colored one, maybe an all white one, you can click the X on the right. You can also change its position. Defaults to right, you can change to left. I personally like the left because the logo is left aligned. Next, you can check to include your ownership statement. Generally, this is something like each office is independently owned and operated. I do always suggest reaching out to your office, especially your broker. They would know any state or local rules and regulations regarding this statement. But this is acceptable for Keller Williams. Now, this gray text that you find at the bottom of each section are little helpful tips and tricks. So pay attention to these as well. For the media section, this one says use high resolution images with little or no overlaid text for best results. If you do have pictures feeding from KWLS, like I do here, most likely the pictures are going to be okay. But if you upload your own, you just want to make sure they're large and high quality. Now, previously, if you added your own image with text on it, Facebook was a really big stickler on, the text couldn't be more than 20% of the picture. They have since done away with that, fortunately. But on that note, I would still suggest mainly putting the text within the text section up above. not necessarily on the pictures. I mean, you can have a little stamp across it saying just sold, but you want the pictures to tell your story as well. Once you're done with this section, click Save. Next, you'll pop open Facebook settings by clicking Configure. And you'll see your account is already populated here. If you have more than one, you can click to drop down to choose. Moving to the right, the next field is page. This is where you will click to drop down and see one or more pages that you have created. So you would click to select what page you want this to be used. Now, at that point, that's when you'll see Facebook lead generation form, which is recommended, be selected by default. You can also choose a site or landing page for your destination. And that destination is coming from this call to action button, which we're going to be going over next again. But anyone who fills out that information may not be coming to command, depending on what site or landing page you enter. So Keller Williams recommends, Scholar in Marketing recommends, me personally recommends using the Facebook lead generation form to collect your information, the lead information. Now that is also because if the user has their information stored within their Facebook account, it's just simply their first name, last name, email address, and phone number, which generally most people do. It does allow them to review that information and click confirm really quick. Not a whole lot of work on their end. So they are more likely to give you the information and to give you real information. If you were having them directed to an outside third-party website or even landing page, they would have to manually type in that information. Again, Facebook, automatic, site, manual. Now, also, like I mentioned, the only 4 things that are collected on this form are first name, last name, email address, and phone number. So if you want anything else, address, sister's phone number, what have you, you would have to create your own form, host it on another website, and then you can also use site or landing page here. So kind of depends on what you want to do, how you're making this ad work for you and your business. If you are seeing an error message about the lead gen form invalid, you will have to accept the lead ad terms. Sometimes that pops up behind this window, so you may have to minimize or even allow pop-ups to find that form the first time you create a campaign. Every time thereafter, like you notice, it didn't pop up for me because I create one at least once a month. Every other time, it'll still work off of that original acceptance. So it's just a one-time thing when you first create a campaign. But this step is where you would see that pop up. Next is your button label. You have a few options here: learn more, sign up, or apply now. So depending on what your ad is about, for this one, I'm going to click learn more. I'm going to choose learn more. But if you were, say, attracting talent, growing your team, or even growing your market center if you are staff or leadership of an office. You can click apply now. Maybe sign up for a buyer seminar. That's another event using that event goal up above. So just choose what works best for your ad. Next is your website URL. So this is where that button is going to take them. So if you say, just sold this house, contact me to learn more, back up in the text section, learn how I can help you sell yours as well. So we can put in our command website, which of course you would enter yours, not mine. But the homepage is a good option for that. My hero text is find your dream home, which is just the default. You can also maybe have it point to your biography or even a contact page, which I don't have a separate contact page. I just use the interested, let's talk section on each page. So totally up to you where you want that to go. Depends on your goal of your ad. Some more examples of this are if it's a just listed or for sale or open house. I highly recommend searching for that property. Let's find one real quick. So pretend my open house was on 5635 Devonbriar Way, number K101. I would go to my website, search for the property, open the property. So click and use this specific page because this is going straight to the property. Simply highlight the URL, right click copy, and you can right click paste that into the field as well. Again, if this is a just listed or even open house, to learn more, you would want the consumer to be directed right to that property page, which of course is branded to you. So also very likely to capture their information, capture correct, real information. And it's still on your website. So if they want to explore further, they can. Totally up to you though. Because we also see agents creating a landing page. A landing page is different than your website because it's its own website in a way. It's just a standalone web page that is created under the consumer applet, and we do have classes that focus on how to create a landing page. So check out those classes. Again, I'll show you where they are later. But if you have one created, you can choose it here. Next section is audience. It defaults to the 20-mile radius around your location of your listing if you so choose it. You can also toggle on use custom settings. This will default to target a custom audience, but you can also target my database. But again, this is lead generate with command. You may not necessarily want to target my database if you're wanting leads. So for this class, I'm going to leave it custom audience. You can choose your location, country, city, state. You can type, you can delete whatever's in here and do something else. So if you want to do something across the country, you can. You can increase or decrease the radius by miles. Minimum is 15. You can also type in here as well. And then expert targeting. This is also optional, but I will go ahead and explain kind of what these are. So if you wanted to narrow down your targeting even further, you can click add interests. You'll also see when I hover over this little eye in a circle, which are popular and throughout command in the rest of the applets as well. So be sure to hover over these when you see them. This is just a little tip and trick, more about what this is. So I'm going to click add interests. You'll see a lot already populate. It's just going alphabetically. And when you hover over them, there's a little speech bubble with your audience size. That audience size is global, so your ad won't necessarily reach that many people. You can also search by interests up at the top. We suggest things like home or even homes.com. Because these interests are what people have added as interests to their Facebook account. So depending on when you've created your Facebook account, you may not remember, it may be, decades. But when you first set up your Facebook account, you can choose your interests. You can choose, what pages you like, what movies, music, all sorts of things. So these interests are looking at what people are interested in according to their Facebook account. So you can do things like categories of real estate, luxury, commercial, land, lot, vacant, farm, ranch. You can do things like I mentioned previously, homes.com or even realtor.com. I don't suggest the pro option because that's the agent version. Or Zillow, Trulia. Again, don't necessarily suggest the premier agent because that's for agents. You could even do things like first time home buyer, house hunter, mortgage calculator, any keywords that people are going to be adding to their Facebook account interests. You'll see your total that you have selected down at the bottom. So once you're satisfied with that, click save, and you'll see all these little tags appear. Now, if you want to narrow that down, which I am not suggesting by any means, but if you did, you would click this button, narrow audience. You would select your interest just like you did before. You can check or search and save. Now, what this does is includes people who match real estate investing and must also match accounting. So they have to have those two interests on their account in order to see this ad. That is exactly why I don't recommend narrowing your audience, because it might be rare and not very many people may see that, especially in this radius, 20 miles of Fairhaven, Mass. So don't necessarily recommend this narrow audience. You can click the little X in a circle or X on the right-hand side to remove those. You can also add more interests if you want to expand that net even further. But I do recommend adding at least a few. Once you're done with this section, click Save. Next, you'll click Configure on Lead Settings. This is a new section, so if you haven't created an ad in a few months, this may be new to you. It's a pretty simple section. What do you want to happen to leads that come from this campaign? You can do one or both or neither. If you want them to be tagged with, for instance, the name of the campaign, which is what I recommend, you can start typing out your campaign name or tag name here and click Create New Tag. Even choose your color and click Add. But if you already had one, let's say Facebook, or Facebook paid ad, then you can add those here. Or, maybe you target investors. Maybe you're targeting agents. So lots of different options there. You can add a new one straight from here. You don't have to go to your contacts or your settings to do that. So love this new feature. You can also add more than one. So you can just start typing again to search or create new. Again, there's a little X here to delete it. There's a little X here to delete it if you just want to remove all of those. And the next one is you can automatically assign these leads to smart plans from here as well. Unlike the tags, though, your smart plan does already have to be created. So create that in smart plans. If you need more information about how to do that, we do have a special class just for smart plans. But let's say you do just want to use the monthly neighborhood nurture. You can select that. You can also select more than one. So if you want to do the monthly neighborhood nurture, which is similar to eEdge's 12 Direct, and maybe do I know there have been a few created by different agents about Facebook lead follow-up. I don't know, I probably named that just this, but you can add to more than one smart plan is the point. And of course, you can click the X to remove. Once you're done with this section, click Save. Unfortunately, saving a campaign as a template, so if you want to do the same text or same Facebook settings each time, you would not be able to exactly, like 100%. I will show you how you can duplicate and customize so different wording right after we finish this campaign. If you do keep getting an error for Facebook settings, but don't see anything that's missed, feel free to send us an email with your command and Facebook username and password and name of the campaign, and we can definitely take a look for you. Sometimes it's even as simple as not having contact information in your Facebook account or on your Facebook page. There's a lot of little tips and tricks that we can help out with. Next section, you will already see a green check mark for duration and budget, but that's just because it does give you a default. Keller Williams recommends a 10-day campaign with a budget of $1 per channel per day. Channel is another word for social media account. Now, disclaimer, ads may take up to 24 hours to be reviewed by Facebook before becoming active. So highly recommend, highly creating this ad several days before your event, or you want it to go live, what have you. So for instance, today's the 18th, tomorrow's the 19th. This is a just sold, so I don't really care when it goes out. It's not time sensitive per se. So I'm going to put it out just a few days to make sure it gets reviewed and accepted by Facebook. And then by default, it's 10 days. So it pushed out the end date, but you can click the little calendar icon to change that as well. You know, you can do it for however long you want, really. And that duration will change and show you how many days it is. Now you see our green check mark went away. That's because it has fallen below $1 per channel per day. So you would simply either use the little plus, minus, or even type in your total campaign budget. And once that daily per channel goes above $1, you'll see that green check mark again. You'll then also see a nice little summary down at the bottom. So I'm doing this campaign for 40 days. It's $1.13 per day per channel, $45 total. So if you were to see any additional channels here, you'll see the details of those as well. Once you're done with this section, click Save. Yeah, let me pull that link for that setup for success link and post it again. And that has the 8 steps to set up your Facebook account for command. Now, last thing on this page, I do suggest changing the Facebook preview to a mobile device. This is how people are generally looking at Facebook. So you just want to make sure that all of the text fits really nicely. The picture fits really nicely here as well. Yet another reason I don't always recommend text on a picture is because it can be really small. If you do see the little ellipses, you can go back in and change this. So see how the ellipses are gone now and it nicely fits in there. If you change anything, click Save. Then you can either save draft or publish campaign. Now, although publish campaign is immediate, because you can't schedule this out, your duration will supersede that. So, whatever you have, if you have it set for tomorrow and Facebook approves it, then it'll go out tomorrow. So the only way to push out or schedule out a campaign is through this duration and budget section. I'm going to click Save Draft. I don't have a payment stored. I don't want to advertise this just sold listing. That'll take you back to the paid ads dashboard though. Showing you around this page, you'll see some metrics on campaigns you've run in the past 7, 30, month to date, year to date, or lifetime. All of your impressions for that time period. Impressions are who sees it, how many eyes are on it, how many leads for that time period. You can view all leads by clicking this blue text, how much you've spent totally. You can search paid ads here. So if you want to look for one, if you're going to more than one page here. and you'll see my naming convention. If you do have more than one channel, like Instagram or Twitter, you can drop down and see individual metrics for those. See a little preview, the status. This will say failed or active. Your duration for a quick eagle eye view of that. I'll go over these in just a moment. How much you've spent, your goal. Here's a little tooltip, which I'll show you in just a moment. And then the 3 dots here is where you can duplicate. So duplicate will be shown if it's in draft status. If it's active, you can choose whether or not to duplicate and run immediately, like if it's the same exact campaign, or you can duplicate and customize if you just want to change a few things. But here's where you would also edit if it's in draft, or pause if it's active, and archive. So last but not least, to explain these columns and these acronyms, I'm going to click the little I in a circle, which is basically the little dictionary. So if there's any verbiage that you don't know what the heck it means, you can open this little dictionary and you can find out CPM stands for cost per milli or 1,000 impressions. So it takes your total amount spent and divides it by the number of impressions multiplied by 1,000. CPC, or cost per click or cost per link click, is how many times someone clicked on it. Total amount spent divided by the number of link clicks. So this is just seeing it, just scrolling past it. This is actually clicking on it. And then last column is CPLC, or cost per lead captured. This takes your total amount spent divided by the number of leads captured. So how many eyes are on it, how many actually clicked it, and then how many actually entered their information, and the cost per each. You're welcome. Thank you. So again, when in doubt, when you forget those, you can click the little I in a circle, but you will see metrics here. I just haven't ran any, so mine are all blank and all in draft status. But that is how to lead generate with command using Facebook paid ads in campaigns. To view previously recorded classes, here's our YouTube channel. Again, that's youtube.com/ScottLeroy Marketing. We have an entire playlist dedicated to Facebook ads. It's going to be in our marketing and advanced courses playlist. You can also search for videos using the little magnifying glass. And of course, our website is scottleroymarketing.com. At the very bottom, you'll find our contact information. But that is it for class today. If I didn't answer your question or you think of something later, send us an email, let us know. This recording will be available just in a few hours. It takes a while to convert and import and whatnot, but it'll be available at slmtraining.com and our YouTube channel. You're welcome. You're welcome. Hope everyone has a great day, and thank you for joining.